Good evening out there. Well, the sun has slowly made its way down once again, and we can finally get comfortable and have a chat. My name is Eddie Booze, and this is Exit the Matrix. Throughout my life, I have traversed my share of rabbit holes, and like many of you out there, I have seen and experienced some things that I simply cannot explain. I invite you all to consider that this world may not be exactly what we've been told it is, and that maybe, just maybe, we haven't even scratched the surface of the absolute truths that lie before us. That being said, let's get into today's episode. I'd like to introduce my guest today, co-host from a few weeks ago, Mr. Joel David Reed. How you doing, Joel?
Doing good. What's going on?
Nice. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. What have you been up to the last few weeks, buddy?
Oh, man. A lot of rehearsals with the band, getting ready to record an album.
And that's with the band that does the touring of the Ren Fairs?
Yes. Tea and Strumpets.
What? Say it again one more time?
Tea and Strumpets.
Tea and Strumpets. Tea and Strumpets.
So what do you think a strumpet is, Eddie?
A strumpet is a breakfast pastry. Like a strudel, because it just audio association.
It's like a strudel and a crumpet put together, right?
Correct, exactly. That's what I'm guessing, just because of what it feels like. So tea, and it's because
it comes with tea.
That's exactly right.
Well,
it comes with.
So that's the theme of the band is that a strumpet.
Wait a minute. Let me take another guess. Is it a musical instrument?
No. A strumpet.
So it's not a trumpet. Like it's not a variation of a trumpet.
No, it's a strumpet is a Renaissance term.
It's not a gay trumpet, like a strumpet.
I mean no. A strumpet is a Renaissance term for a hooker.
Oh.
Or a hoe.
Okay.
It's actually more specifically like an insult, like calling someone a slut.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
So interesting.
You strumpet.
So they had they had like actual slang for.
Oh, yeah.
They had slang terms for their degradation back then too.
Yeah. Back then, nothing has changed. But so we're talking tea and strumpets. The whole theme of the show is we're a tea house, but we're a whorehouse. But we're a tea house.
So the vibe of this, you said, is it's an act. Like
it's a tavern
play.
show. Yeah, it's like a cabaret.
Okay, so how the hell are you going to record it? You said you were recording an album. So what's that going to? Is it going to be like a play or?
Well, we're doing it old school
because it can't be just audio, right?
For this portion of the show, it is just the audio portion, but it's specifically, we're cutting out a bit of the banter. We're cutting out all the script between the songs and keeping a little bit of the jokes in the song. So that's why we have to do it live. So all the girls are going to be in a box. We got like 5 singers. They're all going to be in their own individual box. And I'm going to be on the guitar. We're going to have my drummer on the bowron. And we're going to one take Jake.
So like back in the day when they used to like have
Motown
bands,
style. Oh yeah.
Full bands get in the booth and the drummer would be in an ISO booth and everybody would do their thing and then they'd play and they would record the actual band playing the song.
Yeah.
Instead of overlaying things like they, like most bands are produced today, which is great. That's how a lot of, that's how most bands
composite track
today.
is not new, but it's how we're going to layer it is we're going to do the first take with me on guitar, and then we do the second take with them singing different harmonies to the original, and then I'm going to play bass, and probably I might end up layering a few other instruments on that, but mostly it's going to be these like live studio recordings, kind of like Earth, Wind and Fire, or that kind of thing. It's been a crazy thing to prepare for.
I'm so interested in what Joel does. Like he always comes up. Like every time I see Joel, and sometimes I haven't seen Joel in a while, but every time I see Joel, there's always some element of like I've been doing some crazy ass new stuff. I'm touring Ren Fairs and like playing all this crazy medieval music and stuff. So
I ran away and joined the circus.
Right, exactly. So that essentially is like the circus for for people like yourself. Like you called yourself a bard last week. So it's the circus for bards, right?
The circus for anyone who wants to take a day vacation from this reality and go be a princess or a prince, or just go live in another reality for a second. Who doesn't want that? And I provide that for people.
You're that's just because you're a good person.
I'm trying to make myself sound important.
That's just because you're a good person. You provide an experience.
Yeah.
That's right, dude. All right, cool. So let's get into today's episode. Let's get into what we're going to actually be talking about today. Today we're talking about the Georgia Guidestones. Dun dun dun. Unconfirmed. I'm just kidding. All right,
There's a lot unconfirmed about these things.
Well,
actually.
yeah, exactly.
Like, so much unconfirmed.
Well, I mean, the fact that they were commissioned by a small group of loyal Americans, that's just in general. They were created by an anonymous group, okay? Yeah. So they were created anonymously by an anonymous group. Okay, so a lot of you guys out there don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are. You've never heard of the Georgia Guidestones because...
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, because a lot of the younger generation, doesn't, they don't know. These were erected in 1979. And let me see. Let me just kind of give you like a little brief overview here.
I feel like the fact that the younger generation doesn't know and frankly probably doesn't care only aids to why they were there to begin with.
Interesting. Okay, that being said, let's explore a little bit. So, Joel, what do you know? Just like in general, like what do you know about the Georgia Guidestones?
Well, the Georgia Guidestones are kind of likened to like the American Stonehenge. It has it kind of looks like a Stonehenge, but what it kind of also feels like is like it's trying to be a combination of like this historic monument like Stonehenge, where it's like super mysterious, even the same general kind of design, but then also has this like almost like the Rosetta Stone. Like this was the Rosetta Stone was a key for communication. It had every language on it that was known at the time on it, so that in the Iron Age, I would want to say it was that this was the key for communication. This was like this word means that word. And then you have things like the Vulture Stone at
Göbekli
Tepe, where it's like this was the ultimate warning of the doomsday that happened. And when these stars aligned, this is how it happened. So if the stars align like this again, it might happen again.
I've never heard of the Vulture Stone until you were mentioning that to me just a little while ago. So can you just give me like a brief explanation, because I don't know anything about the Vulture. I know a lot about Göbekli Tepe, Machu Picchu, ancient ruin sites. Those have been of extreme interest to me throughout my life. But like Pumapunku and places like that. But I've never heard of this Vulture Stone that you speak of. So can you just give me like a quick give me like a rundown of like what you know about the Vulture Stone?
The Vulture Stone, and I believe it has like an alphanumeric, or I think it's like 41 or something like that. But anyways, the Vulture Stone, it's what actually got Göbekli Tepe like noticed. It's just a huge stone, and it's carved and has this vulture and a scorpion and this like all these different things on it, but the top one is this vulture, and it's got its wing out, and then you see like a decapitated man and these 3 snakes running down, and like what it looks, it's a pretty eerie, macabre looking sight as itself, but what it really was kind of depicting is that on that is a star chart saying like, at this date in the stars, this happened, and it shows the constellations. There's a Scorpio. It has all these things, and it shows like when these constellations lined up, that was the end of man. That's when mankind was attacked, and you got these serpents, and the way they're moving in, it looks like rivers flowing, which also kind of hints at the Younger Dryas or the deluge. like the Great Flood myth.
For sure.
So what that is saying is like it's like this big doomsday, like, dude, look to the sky, and if it looks like this, you better run, kind of thing.
Right, I got you. So okay, go ahead.
And the reason I say I think it's for the younger generations that they don't know or care, I think it's kind of like it was set up in a time completely anonymously, and it's supposed to feel like that kind of ancient landmark, and it's got all the languages talking about these what would be kind of like almost 10 commandments. And then I think like for the next few generations, once we all forgot about it and once something does happen, this is what is kind of what you want them to like. This is what society needs to be rebuilt upon.
Oh, okay,
we'll get into that.
So some of the research that I did about the Georgia Guidestones led me to not necessarily believe, but just kind of led me to a lot of different opinions that stated that the Georgia Guidestones were erected as kind of a proposed guideline system for society to engage in and by if and when a natural disaster or a nuclear explosion were to hit the earth or something along those lines. The idea behind the Georgia Guidestones is this is how you would want to govern the population, the remaining population moving forward. Now, but that's just speculation, okay? There are 10 rules on the Georgia Guidestones. So let me explain what the Georgia Guidestones are. So the Georgia Guidestones in 1979, a guy named, I believe his name was Robert C. Christian. Okay, so he came to, I believe it was Eberly, Elbert County, Georgia, and he approached the Albertson Granite Finishing Company to commission the monument on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans. So there was a completely anonymous group, had this guy with the initials R.C. Christian go to this group, this granite finishing group, and ask them, hey, we need you to make this giant structure, okay? This giant, essentially American Stonehenge, okay? So essentially they were a granite monument located in Elbert County, Georgia, often referred to as America's Stonehenge. It was erected in 1980. The structure comprised 4 vertical slabs topped with a capstone standing at approximately 16 feet tall. The monument was inscribed with 10 guiding principles in 8 modern languages, including English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. Additionally, shorter messages were inscribed at the top in 4 ancient languages, along with his initials, that R.C. Christian's initials. Okay, and these were inscribed. The shorter messages on the top were inscribed in Babylonian cuneiform, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, and Egyptian hieroglyphics. Wow. Now, again, as I mentioned, in 1979, a man named using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian approached the Elberton Granite Finishing Company to commission the monument on behalf of a small group of Americans. Christian explained that the stones would function as a compass, calendar, and clock, and should be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. He chose Elbert County for its abundance of local granite, rural landscape, and mild climate. The true identity of Robert C. Christian and his organization remains unknown. Its assumed purpose, it had 10 inscriptions on the Guidestone outlined principles advocating for population control, environmentalism, and social harmony. Okay? So, just to kind of like just touch on who are the initials R.C. Christian.
Right.
Again, going through the research that I did, I found out that a lot of people were saying that R.C. Christian was a reference to Rosicrucianism. Okay, so essentially, like Rosicrucianism was. It feels to me like Rosicrucianism is like very Masonic.
Well, let me look this up.
In nature. So, like, I did a little research on them, too.
Yeah.
And, like, what I found as far as that goes is that it's a combination of occulticism and other religious beliefs and practices, including Hermeticism, Jewish mysticism, and Christian Gnosticism. Okay, now the central feature of Rosicrucianism is the belief that its members possess secret wisdom that was handed down to them from ancient times.
Interesting.
Okay, so that last part is a part that feels Masonic to me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, see, and that goes into the presentation of the piece itself. They want it to feel like it's esoteric wisdom from an ancient time. They're trying to gaslight you into thinking this is older than it is, this is more important than it is, and this is something to adhere to way more than you think you should because it's important and old.
When it's just basic socialism.
Exactly.
And world population reduction bullshit. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's okay. It sounds, all butterflies and nice. You know what I mean?
But if you skip the first.
If you skip the first one, I mean, even if you skip the first one, some of them are like it talks about like guiding reproduction wisely. Who gets to decide how that's done and who gets to do what they do, you know what I'm saying? And who gets to reproduce.
Let's read the rules and we'll see.
Let's read the rules indeed. No, you know what, Joel? Let's go look at the Georgia Guidestones. Georgia Guidestones,
Let's go check
Joel.
this out. Let's check it out.
All right, so we're going to take a quick look at the video, and this video is the Georgia Guidestones, just kind of like an aerial flyover when they were still intact because, by the way, these things have been destroyed. And we're going to show you guys a video of them being blown up too as well. So, all right, here's a little video of what the Guidestones are and what they look like. Let's turn that down a little. All right, so.
And this is actually impressive work.
Massive.
I mean, shout out to the
Elbert and Granite Finishing Company.
Right? Like, let's look at this industry. But also, yes, that looks like it most likely could survive a nuclear blast.
That's crazy.
That's massive, 16 feet tall.
It looks like it could survive a nuclear blast, but it didn't even survive like a small blast. Like, it should be.
You know what? That's kind of funny that you say that.
It should be capable of withstanding like all this crazy shit. You know what I mean? And it couldn't even withstand what we're gonna see. Okay, so check it out. Let's watch it get the explosion. Here we go.
And again, no one knows who destroyed it either, or why it was destroyed.
Exactly. Boom! Watch the other angle. Boom! There it goes.
Wow.
That's crazy,
that ain't some fireworks.
But check this out, and then they see it, and then watch this. There's their car that drives off, like it was parked under a tree. It's like not driving on the road. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just pulling off. So like that was like supposedly like right after. But come on, dude. Like that could be security footage from any. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like. I don't know, dude. All I'm saying is that the powers that be, the elite, that the people who erected this shit,
yeah,
they want you. When they're going to do something along these lines, because I'm almost fairly certain the people who put it up are the people who took it down.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't.
You really don't think so?
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
I think that they realized that they were putting this shit too close in people's faces. And they were like, nah, let's just not. Okay, so let's go over the rules.
Yeah,
let's go over the rules.
Which were clearly there, so to get people thinking about it this early on.
Okay. Well, they were there for a reason. They were there for a purpose. Here we go. So, the 10 inscriptions on the Guidestones that outlined principles advocating for the following things are read as follows. Number 1. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Now, okay.
That's a lot of funerals.
There's 16. That is the 16th, bro. Dude.
Okay,
like,
Thanos.
You guys are way worse than Thanos, bro.
You're right. Like, come on.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
So if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna take out 15/16 of the world population, okay?
Oh my God.
Or or not let it grow past that again if there's some catastrophe that brings it under 500 million, right?
That's a big if.
So let's explore the difference between the two. So remember what I talked about, how there were theories that said that this was for if a nuclear blast happened or if humanity was decimated, to never let it get back over 500 million. But that's not confirmed. Unconfirmed. That's not confirmed. Okay.
We need that on a button.
A button, right? Yeah. All right. So that's just a theory. So whoever wrote these could very well have been saying, we just want to cull the herd and get down to under 500 million. Do you see what I'm saying?
We'll see. Okay. Also, when it was,
which one was it, Joel? Was it meant for purposes of not to get over 500 million if we have a major catastrophe or event, or was it a message to cull the herd, Joel?
I don't know. I can be a greedy little princess sometimes. Why not both?
You don't want to kill.
Why not
16,
both?
No, dude.
Why not both?
We need more people on the planet. We're not overpopulating the planet. In my opinion, we're underpopulating right now.
Yeah, look at Montana.
The birth rate's going down, not up. I think we need to, dude. Yeah, exactly.
There's so much space.
We live. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, like, what are they saying there? Like, what that's rule numero uno. That is the prime principle of this whole founding thing. So what are they saying? Are they saying, in your opinion, you're reading it, it doesn't say in case of nuclear holocaust, break glass and use Georgia Guidestones for the guiding principles. It doesn't say that. It just says these are the guiding principles for humanity, right? So with that being said, in 1979, when there were only 2 billion people on the planet, they were saying that we want to get this down by 3/4 of what it currently is, down to what it is now. And now it's 8 billion. So now we're 46 years later, and now they would have to get rid of, like I said, 7.5 billion people to make that a reality. To make rule number one, the prime directive of the Georgia Guidestones, that a reality. So I'm just saying, inviting you all to consider what the hell, and putting that out there. All right, let's go through the rest of the rules. Or else we're going to stay on this one all day.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to come back to some population control stuff. All right, so rule number 2, guide reproduction wisely. So again, it's like, who gets to guide the reproduction? The elites, the same people who created the Georgia Guidestones, the same people who are putting forth these ideas. Do they get to decide who guides, how reproduction is guided, who gets to reproduce?
Healthy?
Right.
Do I have to register?
Right.
Do I have to? Yeah,
no, yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is that to be done? How do you want Donald Trump or Kamala Harris guiding how you reproduce? Do you want your leaders guiding how you as a human being reproduce? I don't know.
I mean, I've been 16. I didn't want my parents even doing that.
All right, number 3. All right, number 3, unite humanity with a living new language. What do you think about that, Joel? Unite humanity with a living new language.
A living new language. Okay. Oh, a living new language. There's a lot. We'll unwrap that in a second. But a new language, meaning we all need to come together under one common, uniform mode of communication.
Fuck your New World Order bullshit, Joel.
And it needs to be a living language, which means it's allowed to evolve and grow, maybe, or also a living language could also mean mass communication because it's a living network. I'm overthinking it with my modern ideals. No, you're not.
Actually,
maybe.
I don't think you're overthinking it at all, dude. Like no, you what you're saying, bro.
When you look at coding, yeah,
dude, you're putting it together perfectly. In my opinion, for what it says, unite humanity with a living new language. It says essentially that's saying to me that they want to remove borders, have everyone be one world government, and that's just what it says to me. Maybe I'm completely seeing this wrong. Maybe I'm looking way more into it, but unite humanity with a living new language. I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. That's just what it feels like to me.
But what that does is subsequently makes makes it one language, one way to communicate, one way to do business, one way to worship, one.
So let's take that back. Let's take that back to the Tower of Babel. Okay, so back in the day,
let's go.
There was so the story of the Tower of Babel is basically as follows. So man was trying to build a tower to God. God saw this and saw that man is so arrogant, they think that they can do this. So God, what he did was he created all of the languages of the world and instilled them onto men who were building this tower so they couldn't speak with each other. They were all babbling and nobody could understand each other, okay? So that was to prevent them from uniting together any further to try and build this tower. That's kind of what I'm. Okay. So again, I'm not overly versed in scripture, but I'm. That's what as far as I can remember, and I may be wrong, but that's what I remember the story of the Tower of Babel being. So what you're saying is that this would undo that somehow.
Yeah, 100%.
No, what this is saying that it would undo that. Well, what Joel is saying and what I am saying is that this means more of a practical application to this and that's to unite all countries under the same law, ruler, and trade. Ultimate currency.
Yep.
And ultimately language.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Which, to be honest with you, that's a bad idea.
I'm like, it's really, whenever you want to get into like some like antediluvian stuff. Like my uncle is an antediluvian historian, like antediluvian scholar.
Really?
Like pre-flood stuff.
Bring them on, dude.
But you, whenever you want to get into some of that stuff, that weirdness, oh baby,
bring them on the show, bro. Yeah. All right, so check this out. So rule number 4: rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. That sounds legit. That doesn't sound. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. However, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. That sounds.
Yeah, it's like if you this sounds like a tradition of temperance and moderation. You can do whatever you want, but don't go too far to where it's like you're forcing or you're perpetrating whatever you're doing onto someone else.
So essentially, like what I'm getting from this is like rule with passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason? Or is it saying rule over passion, faith, and tradition, and all things with tempered reason? Is that saying so? Because this is what it says. It says rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. It doesn't say rule with.
Right. I think.
What is that?
Here's what I think. Because again, you got to think of when it was written and when it's trying to sound like it was written.
Right. They're trying to sound esoteric and ancient.
Exactly. I think what they're trying to say, because this was designed in the 70s.
It's you, Joel.
No, this was designed in the 70s, and know what I see? Rule with, or do you rule with tempered reason? Do this with tempered reason. It's all one big tempered reason rule. Do. It's so 1970s, guy. The design is so 70s.
All right.
Do everything with tempered reason. Put a comma in between each one of those, and it needs a semicolon as well.
Right. Well, they have dashes in between passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. So there's actually dashes in there.
So it's meant to. So they're meant to all be parenthetical. Like this is the one. This do this with temperance.
Right. Exactly.
Do this with temperance.
Exactly.
Passion with temperance.
But the point is that, and the question really is not the point, but the question is it to be able to overcome passion, faith, and tradition and all things with tempered reason, or is it rule with? Is it for those who rule, they should rule with passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and this reads to me with no comma in between rule and passion. It reads to me as overcome passion, faith, tradition, and all things using tempered reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, use your head over passion, faith, and tradition.
Choose logic over feelings.
Well, I'm not sure that that's what it says.
It's
but,
what it's trying to. In a nutshell, is what I think is what they're trying to say. Like, don't go by. You have to use your tempered reason and don't just go off the cuff with your feelings.
So it's not saying rule with; it's saying rule over. So very interesting. So you guys at home, like, I would like to hear your thoughts on rule number 4. On rule number 4, like, read through that, see what that looks like and feels like to you, and let us know in the comment section, like, what you guys think about that one.
And also, I would say, of course, they didn't use commas. Of course, they're dashes because they're trying to gaslight you into
esoteric,
thinking.
right? Exactly.
They're trying to gaslight you into thinking this is older.
All right. So number 5. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. That sounds legit. There's nothing that I can. Well, here's the thing. Like,
according to whose customs?
Well, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, that needs to be done in each country.
But we are all
under that country's customs.
But we're all under one language and one business.
Bingo. Well, again, if we do that, and we're all unified,
then it's
humanity
one law.
Unifies with the new living language.
The living language part.
The people will be protected, and there would be no nations with fair laws. And we would all just have fair laws and just courts under one new living language and one world order. However, that's not what it says here. That's not what it says here.
It's not what it says.
In fact, Rule 5 contradicts what we were talking about Rule number 3, wanting to unite humanity with a living new language, us saying that was a proposition for a new world order and for a one world government. Rule number 5 kind of contradicts that by saying protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. However, nations can also be groups of people. Provinces or just groups of people in general.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the House of David, in the
Sioux Nation. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well,
I got you.
Things along those lines, so if I'm not mistaken, but
no, that
can
works
be
too.
That word can be used in that context. So we have to consider all of this, not just to be taken on. You know what I mean?
We got to decode how old it wants to sound too.
Right. Well, we just have to just actually look at what it says.
Yeah.
And just say what is it we're looking at here?
Right.
So protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Now.
That makes sense. That sounds like a decent thing.
That sounds like a decent thing. Tell me why number 5 sounds weird to you. I'll tell you why it sounds weird to me. Because why do we need to protect nations? So why do we need to protect nations with fair laws and just courts? I mean, maybe we need to do like, okay, you know what? There's some nations that are, I don't know. You know what? I'm just saying that the people. The citizenry and the population in each nation should be protected by just laws and fair courts from enemies, domestic and foreign, from their own nation. We are dealing, Joel, in our recent history in the United States, we've dealt with a lot of garbage that the American government has imposed on us.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like taxation without representation is a thing again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's my point here.
Well,
my point here is that people should be able to be protected even against their own nation's unjust laws. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but also when you go back into the obvious secret society that made this and how it talks about having the ancient wisdom of ancient esoteric wisdom. Also talking about Jewish mysticism. Talks
Christian
about
Gnosticism.
Christian Gnosticism. Okay,
and they think that they were handed down wisdom from generations ago, from ancient times.
I'll tell you right now why the rhetoric says we protect nations, because in Revelations it says the eagle of the west will. And everyone assumes that means America. So it means if this is what they want, the wealthy elite are trying to do that, then that have this, I don't know, quasi Masonry, Zion, whatever. They have to at least have that system into play to fulfill a prophecy, or at least make it look like they're going to fulfill a prophecy.
Interesting.
The minute you fulfill a prophecy and can do it on TV in front of everyone, you're going to be worshipped, or at least someone.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. So moving forward, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court.
See, again, nations.
Now we're back
and
to
world
that new
court.
world order bullshit.
See,
now we're back to that one world government. Okay, in a world court. So like the UN, like NATO.
Could you imagine if NATO had you had to dispute your parking tickets with NATO?
Right, yeah. All right, so number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
Okay,
now,
so
that one feels like it's telling humanity to ignore laws that they don't agree with and officials that make policy propositions that they don't agree with and just ignore them and essentially sow chaos. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ignore the people.
Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
So use anarchy to shut up people that don't say anything, that propagate anything other than what we want. That's all I heard.
Interesting. Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
Out of your head, dude.
Tripping, dude. All right. So number 8 is balance personal rights with social duties. Now this sounds
a little
interesting. Okay,
so
listen. So I'm very charitable. I own 2 nonprofit organizations.
Yeah.
I like giving back. I love giving back to my church. I love going and playing, in the services, both evening and morning services. I love, I used to do a blanket and like jacket gathering thing every year called Life is Better with Blankets. We used to put like hampers in the local bars, like dive bars. Yeah. Seriously, like just have and dude, we fill them up.
Yeah.
We'd take them down to Skid Row and worked with the Union Mission on Skid Row.
That's
and
awesome.
every year we would give a giant delivery of stuff down there. So I think but I'll be honest with you, Joel, I think that really is a personal thing.
Yeah, no.
A lot of people don't have the time and the finances to do that because a lot of people are working 2 jobs to take care of their kids and and a lot of people just don't have the option.
That wouldn't be a problem if you're controlling the population, now would it?
Well, I guess you're right there, Joel. I guess if the world population was controlled to under 500 million, that the opportunities would be and a lot of things would be a little bit different.
So spay and neuter your children, and we won't have this problem.
Yikes! Wow, that was a leap.
Well, right. I mean, that's what it's saying.
I know. Well, it's saying something. It's definitely saying something. All right. So it says the next one is so we have balanced personal rights with social duties, and again, I think like to each their own on that one. You know what I mean?
I also see how it's like civic duties. Your personal rights. I mean, I could see how it's like, hey, if society calls upon you, then you have to be prepared to be like, all right, I'm gonna put my personal ish behind and just go do it. Like jury duty. Yeah,
actually, that reminds me, dude. I got summoned.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Gersh and Neil. I got jury duty. All right. So, all right. Hey, I think that's a petty, useless law. I think I'm going to avoid that one. You know what I mean?
Right.
It says right here, avoid petty laws and useless officials. I think by avoiding jury duty, I'm doing both of those things.
Wait, so useless officials? So like, wait. So I can drive whatever speed limit I want and just avoid.
Well, if you think it's a petty,
officials.
Apparently, if you think it's a petty law, and by the way, who gets to decide which ones are petty?
Who decides any of this crap?
That's what I'm saying. Is this objective? What the hell? Like, is this all arbitrary, dude? This is just nothing means anything.
Well, also when you think of when it was made, this is like Cold War
79.
era.
No, it's not. Okay, yes, you're right.
So
you're right. No, you're right. Yeah.
Loyal Americans, quote unquote. This is some secret society, anti-commie, occultic. We want to reshape the next generation stuff. And that's anytime anyone thinks that their idea is better than what anyone is already living and I'm willing to do something like drastic about it, you're getting scary.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next one is another one of those like where is the comma? You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, so number 9 is prize truth, beauty, and love, seeking harmony with the infinite. So that sounds sounds like a positive.
Wait, can I read that? Without any punctuation. Let's play a game.
Prize. Hold on, one more second. Prize. Here you go. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. So prize truth. It's right in the middle of the page.
Yeah, number 9.
Prize truth, beauty, love.
So let's put punctuation anywhere. Let's
So put it after prize. So prize.
So prize, truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. That's literally how it's like. Just put.
You did a good walk-in. That was good, dude. That was a good one, dude. That was a good walk-in,
the way
bro.
you're reading, the way this sentence is structured, this sounds like it belongs in a walk-in monologue.
Does it feel to you like William Shatner and Christopher Walken had the very same cadence?
Oh my God, did you know they were supposed to be in a show together? They were going to be Roman gladiators. But apparently the pilot was made and it didn't get picked up. And there's a lot of jokes that I've heard, but apparently this is what I've heard. It took too long to get through a scene with both of them together. That's what I've heard. I don't know any of this. This is unconfirmed, but I've heard this.
Prize, truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite.
These are the voyages of the Starship.
No, that's, dude, like Shatner and I think Walken probably got through his shit quicker than Shatner did. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like it would have taken Shatner forever to get through anything. But I actually love William Shatner. He's a fantastic actor.
He's a living legend.
Oh,
man.
dude, for sure, bro. So many things he was, I was born in 81, so growing up, obviously the Star Treks and things like that, but he was kind of a staple of my childhood, like as an actor goes, as far as an actor
William
goes.
Shatner and Dustin Hoffman, Patrick Swayze,
sure, dude.
those are the
Swayze,
icons.
For sure, dude. Like I can remember being like 6 and I was at the dinner table and my cousin said something and I hauled off and called him a cocksucker and my dad,
where'd you even hear that?
Bro, my dad smacked the shit out of me and he was like, where did you hear that? And I was like, well, maybe if you didn't watch Roadhouse 87 times over the last 3 months, I wouldn't be calling my cousin a cocksucker for no reason at dinner, So, but my point here is that we just used to get to watch good movies as kids. I think that's my point here.
Yeah,
is that
or we didn't have option paralysis
from
exactly. everything coming out. Right? Anyways, what's number 10?
All right, so so number 10 is be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. I totally agree with number 10.
Yeah.
So listen, while number 1 is a stretch, number 10 is cool.
It's like, does nature need that much room though? No.
It's like that old scene. I can't remember what movie it was from, but the guy's guy's about to leave and he's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you.
I'm out.
Exactly. So, number 10, you're cool, dude.
Yeah, you're cool.
Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
You can hang.
But yeah, you're cool.
That's it.
All right, so check it out. So these guidelines have been interpreted as a call for a new age of reason, emphasizing sustainability and coexistence with nature. However, the anonymity of the sponsors and the content of the inscriptions have led to various conspiracy theories regarding their true intent. You don't say.
Yeah, they're obviously.
You don't fucking say.
If you're unwilling to put your name on it, it's because of something nefarious.
I don't know. No, I mean, I'm necessarily not sure. I mean, okay. That's, you make probably a good assumption, okay? However, it's not necessarily true. But I got some things to show you before we get out of here, dude. So it was destroyed on July 6, 2022. So this just happened a couple years ago, right? An explosive device detonated at the site, causing significant damage to one of the slabs. And for safety reasons, the remaining structure was subsequently demolished. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been involved in the investigation, but as of now, no perpetrators have been identified. Now,
and none will, and no charges will be pressed.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, especially since it was the people who erected it that blew it up, dude.
I don't think it was.
Hey, who do you think blasted it, dude? Give me. All
Okay.
right. I think the people who put it up wanted it down. I think they were like, we don't want everyone to know that we're trying to listen. We're putting out these vaccines things. We're putting out these things. We don't necessarily want everybody to know like what we're doing.
It's like, oops.
Listen, everybody's stoked right now. They're running to grab their little ouchies. They're stoked as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just let them be stoked. Let's keep the, what we've been talking about.
Well, so when you say
let's blow these Guidestones and let's get this shit with Bill Gates off the internet, you know what I mean, and call it a day. You know what I mean?
With Bill Gates.
Bro, let's go to the fucking tapes, dude. All right, so we got
spill this tea.
All right.
Coming from the strumpet.
So we're going to go back to the destruction of the Georgia Guidestones for a minute here. Okay, so we got Guidestones, destruction. All right. So I'm going to turn that volume down. So boom!
Oh, yeah.
Explosion. Okay. The crazy part about it is that they did they never did an actual investigation. They just went and cleaned it up and took it out and was like, all right, see you guys later, man. Cool. That's why I think the people who put it up are the ones that took it down, bro.
I think the good people of Georgia didn't even want this weirdness here.
Stop it. Stop it.
I don't think anyone wanted this. It was just like, who bought the land? Whose land is that?
I don't know.
Why
let's check this
there?
next one out, dude. So this is just kind of aftermath video. A little bit of so this is what it looked like after the explosion.
That thing was supposed to survive a nuclear blast.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like they
bring in some cherry bombs, bro.
Yeah, it was supposed to be strong enough to survive a natural disaster or an atomic blast, and that thing didn't even survive an M80, dude. Apparently,
it makes sense though when you see how it was probably done at the foundation, because such a static type of media is going to amplify the kinetic energy. So when he just did it at the base, they knew this is going to screw up the foundation. So even if it doesn't destroy it,
we have to take it down.
It'll be unsafe to stay up.
Right.
They weren't even that was really it. I honestly think like.
All right. I still think it was the people who put it up took it down. All right, so check this out. So and here's why, right here. And like I said, let's scrub all this shit, and we don't want anybody to know this.
This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to 0, and that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to 0. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to 0. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Reproductive health services.
Yo, he just said, did you hear what he just said?
Oh, I heard
using
that.
Vaccines and reproductive health services. We can lower that by about 10 or 15%.
Intentionally. That's why I said, why not both? Meaning they're going to intentionally try to lower it, and they're never going to let it get higher. Because of this New World Order, wants that population to be basically, we only want what would it say, 50 million people?
Right.
Well, yeah, that means that where's the 50 slave masters that own their million slaves?
All right, so let's check this out. So let's check this next video out, Joel. So I believe this next one is a prime minister of, I can't remember, maybe Malaysia? I can't remember exactly which one, which country, but he's talking about the exact same thing about reducing the world's population.
That's something.
Oh, wrong one. There we go.
Malaysia's former Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, said that the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPPA, is a New World Order strategy by a powerful pact of people led by the US to dominate the world economy. Speaking at the international conference titled New World Order, Recipe for Peace or War, organized by the Perdana Global Peace Foundation, Dr. Mahathir said globalization and borderless trade are being used to establish a one-world government.
What were we just talking about?
Basically, it is about having a world government. We should abolish all states, all nations, all borders, but instead have only one world government. And that world government is to be by certain people, elites, people who are very rich, very intelligent, very powerful in many ways. They are the ones who will govern the world.
You hearing what this dude is saying?
I'm just like, is this real?
Or choice of leaders. Instead, there was to be a government by these elites who will impose their rules on everyone in this world.
Impose the rules on everyone in this world.
Unwilling to submit to them, there will be punishment. And the peace that we will get.
Does this make you a little uncomfortable, dude?
Well, okay. This isn't new, though. This isn't new.
Is to reduce
like, okay, and
the number of
because
hold on, let him finish.
Yeah.
World. At the time when the New World Order was enunciated, the population of this world was only 3 billion. The intention was to reduce it to 1 billion. Now the population of the world is 7 billion. There will be a need to kill many billions of people, or to starve them to death, or to prevent them from giving birth, in order to reduce the population of
Did you hear what he just said?
I just heard. Yeah, okay.
Dog.
We'll address that. I got something for
Okay,
that.
so check this out. So now I'm going to show you one more clip. This is the last clip. By the way, check this out. So this is the very last clip we're going to check out right here. So this is Bill Gates talking to Klaus Schwab.
About what?
You'll see.
Let me ask you a last question, Bill. Now you are doing yourself this transition into a new function, and you leave behind a legacy of having transformed the world into I would say, into information society. Now, if you look forward and at your next career step, career may be not the right word here, but at your next life phase, what would you like to see as your legacy in 10, 15 years?
Of the new work?
Of the new work.
Yeah.
So he's asking Bill Gates about what Bill Gates sees his legacy being over the next 10 or 15 years. So
I'm quite optimistic. If you look at, say, the 20 diseases that our global health program goes after, I'd hope that within 15 years, over half of those, we could have had a very dramatic impact.
I am so sorry, but what the fuck are anybody doing listening to this dumb shit talk about anything? Why is he allowed anywhere near the medical field at all? Explain that to me. Why is Bill Gates a computer developer, a tech developer? Why is he any kind of an authority on vaccines, on medication, especially when this dude is literally on air? We just showed him talking about reducing the world's population using vaccines and reproductive rights. And what the hell? Like, why is anyone taking this dude seriously whatsoever? Well, if this is what we're looking at right here, if this is what we're looking at, why is it taken seriously?
Okay, so
there is no answer to that.
Okay, there's
some of them will prove to be harder than others.
Let's let this
play out.
We will made an improvement, but not the dramatic improvement probably in that time frame. Malaria, perhaps, and a number of the other ones. We have things in the pipeline. So, huge change in the mortality rates in developing countries, which then has this effect of reducing population growth. That's this big benefit that then makes everything.
He just said reduce. It's a benefit.
Nutrition,
right,
a lot easier. So I have very high expectations there, and we actually use these dashboards internally at the foundation to make everything be quite numeric. We're trying to be rigorous about that and even share those so that
it just blows my mind that this guy openly talks about population reduction like it's nothing. I mean, like it's just absolutely nothing, dude.
It happens all the time, though, and it happens to impoverished nations, and it happens like even in Native American reservations as late as like the mid '80s, women would go in for a pelvic exam with their gynecologist and be told, "Oh, we have to do an operation for something," they end up leaving with a hysterectomy without their consent or even knowledge. And then later on in life, when they were like, hey, how come I'm trying to get pregnant? And they're like, oh, well, let's see. Oh, well, because you had a hysterectomy.
So you're saying that there's always been an attempt at population control.
Always.
To some degree.
Well, I mean, we learned it from Rome. From the Romans. What do you think of the Roman practice of decimation? 1 out of every 10 men.
Don't the Chinese have a rule that you're not allowed to have more than like one daughter or something like that? Or
I don't.
I heard that when I was a kid. Unconfirmed. But I gotta look that up, dude. In fact, look that up for me. That's the beautiful thing about having these things called.
Well, you look that up. I'll give a couple other shining examples. Because when you took the Roman practice, then also later you get, when England was invading into Scotland, they brought in prima nocta, meaning like the first night. So the noble lord of that province could take the right of first night with a newly married bride. The hopes was... the hopes was...
I am fucking blown away.
And the hopes was that, fine, after a few generations of this, you won't even know if you're Scottish anymore.
Right, exactly.
And so it's like, it's breed them out. And it doesn't matter. It's all through history that you can look through any impoverished group under the boot of another group, and they've always tried to breed them out.
I always thought prima nocta was one of the craziest things I've ever heard of in my life, dude.
But it was actually based on...
I heard of that shit. I was like, I'd have killed. It never happened, dude. Never in a million years.
Well, actually, I'll bring
China's one-child policy was a population control program that restricted most families to one child, and it was in place from 1979 to 2015. 2015, dude. For up to 10 years ago, you can only have one child in your family, in your household. It said the policy was created to reduce rapid population growth and help the economy grow. The Communist Party believed that rapid population growth was undermining economic development. How was it enforced? The policy was strictly enforced with fines, forced abortions, and forced sterilization.
What did I just talk about?
Okay, guys, I'm just going to say, you got it good here. You fucking got it good. In the good old US of A. Wowzers. Forced abortions, forced sterilization. You can't even be fertile. They will make you they will make you get a hysterectomy. Like you said, forced hysterectomies. Like you said, hey, apparently, you know what, Joel? Didn't you say the U.S. was doing that too?
Native Americans. Up as late as the 80s. And there's documented stuff there. But also when you look
I hope we're not still doing shit like that. You know what I mean? I hope that
you were just talking about vaccinations and vaccines. What do you think that what do you think that, the
ruling class and the elite, the people who put up, listen, Joel, the people who put up the Georgia Guidestones are not different than the people who enacted prima nocta. They're not different than the people who are trying to who tried to reduce the population by unknowingly giving women hysterectomies in certain groups of people. They're no different. It's the same people. It's been the same elite. It's been the same people. And Joel, is it a Illuminati Masonic group that has consistently been the same type of group over the generations claims to pass down this information, like the Rosicrucian Christians had claimed to have ancient wisdom and claimed to have the laws that we should be living under, the real information apparently that they have that we don't. Is it
I feel like any religion says they have esoteric wisdom.
Well,
of
I'm
what
saying
should
my point is that, you know what I mean? Like, is it?
But yeah, no, I
is
get
it
what you mean.
these people? Is it these groups?
Yeah.
Is it these groups of people that have always existed through the last, few hundred years, even from before even before the United States even existed?
Oh, long before.
Like, so
we're still a baby nation in the grand scheme of history.
Is it those groups that are deciding that we need the world depopulation, that are deciding to erect and, in my opinion, and blow up the Georgia Guidestones?
Actually, okay.
Like, or is it different? Or is it like certain? Is it like, over here you got the Rothschilds and the rich families over here, and over here in these countries you got, or are they all coming together in a Bohemian Grove style? New world order that they themselves are creating that we are gonna have to live under no matter what.
I mean, it could be the Bohemian Grove. It could be one of Diddy's white parties. It could be any of these things, dude. It could be any of these things. The point is, and I'll tell you why, is because if the pop culture and the pop stars can get us being okay with it, if they can give us that subliminal message behind a heinous backbeat that we all know and love, then they can start subliminally preparing us for this shit. Why do you think like all the music videos back right before around 2017, 18, every music video had riots, every music video had talking about
shit like this, explosions?
Exactly. Everything was nothing but civil unrest.
Blah!
Yeah,
boom!
And then it's like, dude, everything it's like, get ready, revolution's coming, and then what happened? And then a big pandemic, and everyone's like has to go home, and then every music video is like, revolution's coming. It's like, whoa, okay, back up, dude. What's happening?
Right.
It's like they were trying to just amp us up for this, so we would be ready for that. That's there to put
but
you
they
in our
also,
heads.
but again, like in my opinion, they also didn't want us to know the details of like what their actual plans were, and that's why when everybody was jumping along with it and running out and grabbing their vaccines as fast as they could and shit like that, they looked around and they go, wait a minute, like we put this out there. Like we have this like legit on a giant monument.
You know what?
In
I'm
Georgia,
starting to see what you mean. Maybe that was the cover the tracks thing. Sorry, I mean to.
I'm just saying. It's the thought. That was just my thought. As soon as that went down, I was like, all right. That's just what it felt like to me. But again, I could be completely wrong. Let's look at a couple of these YouTube comments. Like somebody says, I often wonder what is the purpose of having surveillance cameras that capture such poor image quality, poor quality images. Like that seems to be a thing with every like major incident. You know what I mean? We only get the
can't see Bigfoot either.
What is it, 360 version or whatever it is. We never get 1080p. We always get like 480 or lower.
But these ring lights can see in 360 degrees in stunning 4K.
Yeah, right. And we never get that. We never get that footage.
Right.
Even in 2024, 2025, we never get that. Usually in a crime investigation, you would tape off the area and preserve as much evidence as possible. In this case, the roads were blocked and everything was demolished and all hauled off and cleared out completely. No investigation. Why is that? Good question, right?
Meaning they didn't. It's not these weren't preserved. This monument wasn't preserved. No, we busted it up and took it
away.
Now what?
That's
no,
right.
Okay. After that,
We
okay,
initially
you know
demolished
what?
it.
Okay, yeah, I think that may be covering your tracks. All right, Eddie.
Kudos on the edit, removing all of the usable evidence that would explain what happened. So I heard a couple people say something in here, and let me think. I think. Okay, right here. Love how they have footage of the explosion, but not of the guy walking up to it to place the explosives. Okay, by the way, this dude expelled explosives with a C, or explosives.
That's okay. You know what? Here's the thing.
I don't mind. I get what you meant, bro. I get what you meant, dude. All right? Love how they have footage of the explosion, but not the guy walking up to it to place the explosives. All right, so I saw a video while I was doing my research on this, which looked like it showed a dude running up to it and like throwing something in it and then running away. But you couldn't really tell, and with the footage being as shitty as it was, you couldn't really tell if it was a guy, if it was a girl, like what was happening. Like you couldn't tell if it was even a person. But
a guy would only be like a
was.
quarter of the size of that thing, and that thing's already so small.
It was tiny. What you saw run up to it in the frame was tiny, dude. I don't have that here. I should have uploaded that piece, but I did see one that did appear to have somebody run up to it and run away. But they were running as fast as fuck though, dude. So go watch that video. It's a trip, dude. And let me know what you guys think about that footage in that vid too. And then my favorite comment was, my question is, since nobody has claimed responsibility for putting up the Guidestones, who installed the security cameras?
That's what they said. Who owns the land?
Who's watching those security cameras? Where does that feed go? That is a good question. I think that person was onto a good process of thought, a good train of thought.
This is the kind of free thinking we need. Send this man a T-shirt.
Exactly. Right. Send this man a T-shirt, indeed. So, yeah, we get some exit the Matrix. Some exit the Matrix gear pretty soon here. You know what I mean? Like, but man, dude, like the Georgia Guidestones has been a very, very interesting and insane. You know
what? I actually
thing to explore.
The fact that you've changed my mind, Eddie. You have changed my mind.
I'm telling you, dude. I think it was intentionally demolished because they didn't want people to know what their plans are.
So clearly, Bill Gates has something to do with it. Then,
but here's the crazy part: like, why would you do that if you knew that no one knew who put them up anyway? You know what I'm saying? There's so much weird, like contradicting information here.
See, that's why I thought someone would have this vandalism. Like, no, man, I'm tired of this being here. I'm tired of this in my hometown. I'm tired of like you ever had a neighbor and you're like, I'm tired of seeing that in the yard, and finally you just go and talk to the neighbor. I'm like, bro, when are you gonna? All right, I'm only talking out of experience as I've been the guy with the thing in my yard that I get talked to because I'm never home. I'm
You're
at the
guy everyone has to come and talk to, Joel.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm like, being that, I'm like, how come no one has finally said, you know what, bump this. I'm about to bump this off the map. I'm tired of this being in my hometown. I'm tired of the weird esoteric BS. I'm tired of the New World Order nonsense. I'm tired of this being the weirdo tourist trap here. I figured that's what it was.
Right, and you gotta know that the Georgia Guidestones probably was a fairly big tourist attraction. It wasn't. It was probably something that did attract a fair amount of visitors every year. Again, probably not a lot of social media influencers, kids, and things along those lines, unless they're doing shows and content along the lines of what we're talking about. Where they're really exploring. These types of conspiracy theories, these types of things. By the way, this is all for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
So we didn't mean any of it.
We can add a laugh track if you want.
You guys are good, All right, you guys. No, but thank you so much, Joel, for joining me today, man. I really appreciate you, brother. You're always a great guest host, man. You're fantastic, brother. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. And remember, everyone, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way around. My name is Eddie Booz, and this is Exit the Matrix.